From here, we just wanted to open it to you all. And yes, please.
Sure. Sean Tan with AFP. You mentioned a bit about trying to serve the summons. Can you explain a little bit about that? What do you expect to happen? And what's the likelihood you think it would be successful to have a process go forward?
See, we are very optimistic that we'll be able to serve him because Narendra Modi is going on many public engagements, meetings, public places. We have hired process servers. Another thing which we are doing, and we are living up to the American public, to the American values. The American Justice Center just informed me that they are offering a reward of $10,000 to anyone who will serve Narendra Modi and will come first with a service and with a video and pictures that he has been served. So it's a $10,000 reward to anyone who can serve Narendra Modi, besides what our law firm has hired, the process servers, which will be fanning out to all the places where Mr. Narendra Modi is supposed to be.
Hi, David Ingram with Reuters. Two things. Why is this suit being filed now? Is this just an attempt to embarrass him while he's in the United States? And second, isn't he immune from suits like this under these laws as interpreted by the Supreme Court?
Thank you. See, there is no question of embarrassment. He should have been embarrassed when he was leading the death squads that killed innocent Muslim community. United States banned him and shunned him for the 9 years. So the victims were waiting for this opportunity since 2005. This civil lawsuit can be filed with personal jurisdiction, and the courts have personal jurisdiction only when Narendra Modi is coming to the United States or is in the United States. Regarding the immunity, that question we will discuss. We see that as a prime minister, he will be immune from the acts which he has committed as the prime minister. But this particular act or omission which he did in 2002, genocidal violence against the Muslim community, he is not immune from the acts which he did as the chief minister of the state of Gujarat. Yes, please.
A senior State Department official today, in fact, they were asked this question. They said that as a general legal principle, sitting heads of government enjoy immunity from suits in American courts, and they cannot be served papers or handed over summons and papers to begin this process. So this is what they have said on sort of today itself regarding this. So how do you intend to take this forward? Coming from the U.S. government itself?
That's very much true. The heads of the states are immune, as I mentioned earlier. He is immune from the acts which he committed as the head of the state. But the allegations against Narendra Modi is not what he committed as the Prime Minister of India. The allegations are when he was the Chief Minister of the state of Gujarat. And those acts and omissions which he committed in 2002, he will be held accountable, and that's what the law says. So the next question is serving. There are multiple ways to serve him. As the time is going to come, we will keep you guys updated. And as I mentioned, we are keeping it open to the American values and to the American public. Serve him and get $10,000.
Matthew Pennington from AP.
Yes.
If you hired 3 companies to try and serve the summons on him, why are you also offering this award? Are you saying that any private citizen can make a copy of the summons and try and serve it to him?
Yes, that's what we are doing, because we wanted to raise an awareness amongst the American public that this is an individual who is coming over here, covering his face as a head of the state, but look behind that real face. We wanted to raise this awareness to the Americans and the American values that the human rights violators, you cannot host them, you cannot trade business with them, because this is not an American value. We want to take it to the public that let's challenge it, let's serve him, and just you should be aware that he is with one of us right now.
Do you see any prospect at all that he could appear in a U.S. court in connection with this case?
We are certain. As a head of state, he will have immunity, and as another journalist just mentioned, that Department of State already mentioned that he is immune. But immunity is only for the head of state for the acts which he has committed as the head of the state. but the acts which he committed before he became head of the state. So it's like that. You can commit a crime, you can be responsible for the genocide of the religious minorities, and suddenly you are elected to the head of the state. That doesn't make you pious. That doesn't take away the crimes that has been committed.
Can I ask another one?
Sure.
Well, I know you said that you don't want to name the plaintiffs for your own protection. I understand that. But can you give us a little bit more detail about their experiences? Are they living in the U.S. and what their experiences were in 2002?
Yes, they are in the U.S. What they have experienced is given in depth in the complaint. One of the named individual whose name is out there, Asif, he not only survived 2002, but later on he started to work with the NGOs for the victims. He was threatened and he was tortured even after that. They are very much in the United States. The other victim, we are withholding the name, other plaintiff, with the threat to their families, which they have received in the past. So their experience is they are lucky. They just survived. There are thousands who could not make it to the United States. So they are the voice of the voiceless who were buried in 2002.
Who was the source of the funds, $10,000 that you've put as reward for anybody who serves the Commonwealth? What's the source of this fund? Is it the American Justice Center?
Yes.
Has it been collected? Is there a donation that happened? What? Where?
I wouldn't know that. This is for American Justice Center. They will inform me. They just informed me that this is going to be a $10,000 reward. And since that is a nonprofit organization, I'm sure they will collect it.
Is this organization founded for the purpose of this lawsuit? And who set up the organization?
This organization is definitely set up to take the cases of the victims of the religious minorities in India. Mr. Wilkinson is the director, one of the directors. Another director is Dr. Bradley, who worked with Dr. Martin Luther King for the civil rights movement also.
With Dr. Bradley, could you say his full name?
Dr. John Bradley.
And Mr. Whittington, could you tell a little bit more about how you became involved? And you said you had constituents who were interested in this case?
Yes. In 2003, as an elected official, we had an opportunity to give an award for a resolution by the City Council to condemn the massacre in Judah. That's on our as resolution by the City of Harvey. From that brought conversation, meetings, and a lot of the citizens that are residents in my ward finally started feeling that they were able to talk. And in those discussions, we started recognizing some similarities. Something was forgotten. They wanted, as guests or citizens in America, they wanted to speak to our principles. This Constitution that we have here is fantastic. So, but they were fearful of the past. And as we talked and gathered this decision for the American Justice Center came about. It's not something that was planned, it evolved. And everything to this day was by faith. That's what we believe in. So that's if I've answered your question.
Yes, you have.
Okay.
So it was set up in 2003, you say?
No, the discussion was a resolution in 2003 for these victims of the massacre. There was something at that time that was going on in India, and we started talking about it. And my community is a very diverse community, as I said before. We are trying to work together like New York, trying to come together to make a city grow. And so it happens that the City Hall is in a vicinity of a mixed, diverse community. And that's how we started working together.
So when was AJC set up?
And prior, about this year. This year.
You obviously know it's an uphill battle. I mean, the State Department has come out and said that, you know.
Yes, 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 yes.
You've offered $10,000 award. You know that chances are the likelihood
Yes,
is not
yes.
very good. Can you talk about how the symbolism of victory in itself, what do you?
The symbolism is the victory. As too often as human beings, we tend to get apathy and think that this will not come again. You must address it. That's what we do. We must address it. American justice is to address it. Wherever it hides, wherever it is. If it's not you today, it's me tomorrow. If it's not me, it's you. You must be vigilant and focus on it. So it was something that had to be done. It has to be done. It has to be not in the back of your mind, but in the forefront. Would you want your children to be forgotten after a massacre? Would you want your community that you grew up in forgotten in a massacre? Would you go hide in the corner if you've been raped, molested, tortured, forgotten? The opportunity came now. I'm an African American. I said, what in the world am I doing? But I can see the same similarities in the struggles of African Americans in America. We have overcome some parts of it. So there's a symbolic, yes. It's the flame that's on liberty outside.
Sorry, one more question. Has your law firm been involved in other cases brought against heads of state before?
Hi, my name is Salman Yunus, and I work in the research and litigation in the cases related to ATS and TVPA, Alien Tort Claims and Torture Victim Protection Act. I work with Panunda firm, particularly in this area. Yes, our law firm actually, not our law firm, but Mr. Panoon has been the legal advisor to another organization, Seeks for Justice, and Seeks for Justice has filed cases under ATS and TVPA against ex-Prime Minister of India, Manmohan Singh, and other notable officials from India like Chief Minister of Punjab, Prakash Singh Badal, head of Congress Party, Sonia Gandhi. So we have been involved in litigation before.
Do you mind saying what happened with those cases regarding Manmohan Singh and Sonia Gandhi?
Actually, the case against Manmohan Singh, and I'm glad that you brought it up, that case is still pending before the Federal District Court in Washington, D.C., and one of the important points in that case that has been decided is that the presiding judge has ruled that Manmohan Singh is not immune from the acts that he committed as Finance Minister of India. And the judge clearly ruled that the immunity extends only to the actions committed as head of the country and not to the actions that are committed as a finance minister or any lower position. So that applies to Narendra Modi, as Mr. Panoon said earlier, that the acts that he committed and the one that we alleged in the complaint are the ones that he committed as a chief minister, not as a prime minister.
Sorry, what were the acts that Manmohan Singh accused?
Well, Manmohan Singh's case is based on the acts that he committed as a finance minister of India during the decade of 90s. He was the finance minister and he was writing checks for extrajudicial killings to the cops and other people for the counterinsurgency operations in Punjab. There were over 100,000 people who were killed extrajudicially by the security forces in Punjab, and the members of the security forces, including the head of the security in Punjab, they were given free hand and free money from the government exchequer, written by the by Manmohan Singh as a reward for killing the accused terrorists or militants or anyone who is of political dissent. So the charges against him is funding the extrajudicial killings.
Hi, I have a quick question. Are you working only for organizations or heads of the states in India, or are you working for heads of the states in neighboring countries like Pakistan, or where when their heads of the state come here, they have been alleged and there are lots of cases going against them?
We are committed to human rights violation, and we work for organizations and individuals who approach us. We are a professional law firm, so we do not discriminate between any countries or any head of the state. If anyone approaches us for regarding human rights violation from any other country, we will look at the facts, and if possible, we will definitely work on it.
Can you cite any cases where you have...
We have not been approached by anyone.
Thank you.
So,
Here's a follow-up question. Theoretically speaking, if this were to come to fruition, what would you like to see happen in a trial setting? What do you think would be an appropriate remedy?
see, this is, as we discussed in the beginning, this is a civil lawsuit. We are asking for a declaratory judgment that the attacks on the Muslim community in 2002 were not rights. It was a systematic and organized killings targeting a Muslim community, so it should be declared as a genocide, and compensatory and punitive damages for the victims.
The victims, specifically the ones who were involved in the lawsuit.
Yes, 2002.
I have one more question.
Sure.
So Sikh for Justice has had launched a petition some time back.
Yes.
And that gathered a lot of signatures, but then later those signatures were removed by the White House staff. Would you care to comment?
That's a separate issue. Since what you asked, I'll be more than happy to explain. The signatures, I think, crashed more than 100,000. But then suddenly one day we saw that it came back to 1,000 or a few hundreds, and we started investigating with the White House petition. They said they are investigating that there might be some fraud going on, and they issued a statement as well. Under fraudulent checks, they found something. But when we really went to them, then they reissued a statement that it's an anomalous procedure that they have followed. So there is a difference between fraud and anomalous. Anomalous means that the standard procedure was not followed. In the Sikh community, mostly elder and the Sikh community is uneducated, and they do not have their own emails. So what they were saying is that you are using multiple emails and using the names, which is perfectly fine with the Gmail accounts, and that is illegal. We are still going with the White House, and after September 30th, we'll be working on that one. We have filed a FOIA with that. It's not settled because they said fraudulent check, and then they came up with the statement that it's anomalous. Anomalous means the standard procedure is not followed.
Can I add something with regard to the service? You had asked that what are the prospects of members of public serving Narendra Modi. The service in this lawsuit is being governed under the New York state laws, not the federal rules. And the New York state law provides that the service can be accomplished from a distance, which means that you could serve somebody even from 10 feet and throw the papers right across to him, close to him. So that is why we are hoping that while Modi will be attending events at Ground Zero and Grand Central and Madison Square Garden, we are approaching to the public that members of the public, somebody could print it out from our website or AJC's website, take it with him, and if he sees Modi 10 feet or 15 feet away, he could just flip them across to him, and the service will be accomplished.
Thank you all for attending, and we really appreciate you taking time and going over this issue. Thank you very much again.